Hi there. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Doors. Today we talk about physical limitations, what it means to have them, what physical limitations we've had, the people we think that are breaking through physical limitations, the mindset behind every inch above, beyond, below, beside about physical limitations and how you can open the doors to get through those limitations. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a great day. Bye. Hey guys, Nick here.
What's going on, y'all? Zach here,
We're just two guys trying to make the world a better place.
and welcome to the Doors.
And let's get it. 3, 2, 1. Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of The Doors. We're the developers of our own opportunities, reinforcing success. I'm Nicholas Sternloff,
I'm Zachary Otts.
and it's time to open some doors. Today, we are talking about breaking physical limitations and what physical limitations are in the world. So to give you a brief understanding of this, me and Zach have been doing physical activity, hardcore physical activity for most of our lives. And I think it's going to bring a really interesting perspective to how you guys think about physical limitations or what even physical limitations are and how we can move upon those and things that we've realized and the moves we're making right now, which is really interesting. So, Zach, what are your physical limitations, bro? What do you think about physical limitations?
I think, as always, us being human beings, we want to put a governor on ourselves. We want to put something on ourselves that make it to a point where we can achieve great things. So going back to your question, Nick, I would say that if you want to be someone that wants to accomplish impressive feats, you want to do things that others haven't, you've got to be one of those people that's not afraid to be uncomfortable and not afraid to do things that other people don't do. So, as far as my physical limitations, Nick, I don't even want to say I have any. I know that subconsciously I do, but I think you have to go into it with a mindset of I can accomplish anything as long as I put my mind to it.
Okay. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. That makes a lot of sense, especially if we're trying to the things we've done through cheerleading, through your taekwondo and karate and different martial arts, as well as my gymnastics and things like that. I think another really great question, which is just segues the beginning of what we're doing. Hi Loki.
Yeah.
But the things that segue into exactly what we're trying to talk about. What do you think is one of the hardest physical like abilities or anything you've ever seen? Because I have a really interesting one that most people don't probably know about. But what do you think is one of the hardest physical activities out there?
One of the hardest physical activities out there. Whew. There's, I mean, there's a few that I really just have to give credit for, but I think the most physical, it's got to be something in martial arts, man. Something to do with fighting, something to do with like training your body to go the distance, and But on the other hand, going back on our backgrounds, Nick, I played football for a long time. Absolutely love football. Like, don't have anything against it, but cheerleading to me was a far more physical, enduring sport because not only did you have to work on yourself, not only did you have to work on your physical self, but man, if you have a block, like a tumbling block, I feel so bad for you. Like, because I had one of those where I was just, petrified to go backwards for a while. And I remember when I finally broke through that limit or broke through that block, it was one of the best feelings ever. So Nick, what is your take on that? Why do you think we get these blocks on ourselves? Why do you think we put limits on ourselves? Do you think it's just how we're brought up in the society we're raised in?
No, I think it's honestly the mentality you have everywhere you go and in life and what you're doing. if you look at, just like you said, that cheerleading is a very high intensity sport. The reason why it's so hard is because it's much more of a mental game than it is an actual physical game, a physical sport. And the reason, like, so it takes I when I talk to people about it, it's an 80% mental, 20% physical. Because if you do things right in cheerleading, it doesn't take a lot of effort because technique reigns supreme. But if you are in your head and you're thinking about things and it's just not going your way, or you're having to force things, it becomes a lot more physical, and your mental game just messes you up. But I think I really like. I was talking to my buddy Kalen Valone the other day, and he was talking about how cheerleading was so hard, but it's so different because he did wrestling his whole life. And I've never done wrestling. I've grappled before, but I understand this one because I've grappled. But he talked to me. He's like, listen, what's so interesting about the difference in fighting and cheerleading is that, of course, cheerleading is you have if you it's like running 5 miles in 2.5 minutes. It's a lot of high intensity, 100% moves in a short amount of time, and you can get very out of breath. But when you're wrestling or when you're fighting, you're going 100% the whole entire time. And I think that's a very interesting viewpoint because people that have not been in fighting like me, other than just a couple grappling matches, just messing around, like that's like a physical limitation. You have to push past your physical limitations one after another just so you can step up to your opponent.
Yeah. And especially if you're going against someone who's a little bit more seasoned than you are, you have to sit back and think that some people have been doing this since they were toddlers, and now they're later in age, or maybe they're middle aged, or maybe they're,
Mm.
just one of those young teens who've been doing it for a while. Man, they're taught how to properly strike, how to maximize their physical endurance, their stamina. They're able to maximize those things. And for anyone out there that's done martial arts or win a few rounds in boxing, after you get done sparring or after you've got done in the ring, how intense you feel. And like Nicholas said, it's more of a mental game, because when you think about it, you go into this match, and if you don't have a strategy, you better have a lot of heart.
Yeah, yeah. I think one of the I asked you this question earlier, but I'm going to answer the same one. Is you I was talking about what do you think is the hardest physical activity limitations? I think calisthenics is one of the wildest things on this planet. Being able to freely move your body in the wildest ways, iron crosses, planches, levers, handstands, ridiculous. Like I'm watching a insane calisthenics and street workout compilation right now, and these motherfuckers are wild. The amount of strength and raw ability it takes to do these kinds of things is intense. One arm pull ups, like I think that's I understand like physical bodybuilders in having and watching them lift ridiculous amounts of weight. I think that's an incredible feat. But being able to, I think there's a freedom in being able to move your body in such ways as calisthenics, and I'd like to eventually get there. That's one of the dreams I have is to be able to do a planche and some like Malteses. If you don't know what those are, it's basically where your body's off the ground, but you're not touching anything but your hands to the ground and you're holding like a plank position. Your feet are off the ground. That's an intense strength right there. I've done straddle planches, which is the same thing with your legs apart, but that's every muscle in your body being activated in a way that literally allows you to lift your body off the ground with only using your hands.
It's
Wild.
intense, man. Very, very intense.
But just like you said, one of the interesting things is that's a physical limitation for me at the moment.
Hmm.
And like I haven't been training as much as I wanted to in that sense. I've been working out, but that's something that I can work towards and break. I know that I have the ability to really get into that and like get as strong as I need to be to put myself in that position. But
But
I know it's going to take a lot of effort, a lot of time, and
yeah, go ahead, Nick. Sorry.
no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, in the real world, there's no requirement, man. Like it's the difference between, okay, am I able to push myself this far? If I can, then what if? What if I can do this? And I think that's one of the things, like going back on what you first said, it's mentality, it's perspective. If you see this task as daunting, you see it as a way for you to gain some sort of, I don't know what you're looking for, some sort of trophy, you're probably not going to be able to accomplish it. But if you look at it from the perspective as like it's a mountain, it's something that you have to climb, something that you have to overcome, you are going to step outside of yourself. You're going to step outside of your comfort zone, and you're going to do things that you wouldn't normally do. You know, we have physical and mental limits. Everyone knows this. And you never know exactly how far you can go until you actually take that step and try it. So I think one of the things that people have to understand is you've got to have a strong why. You have to have a strong reason as to why you
Mm,
want to do this, or what am I going to gain from breaking through this? So Nick, I got to ask you. I know in gymnastics
yeah.
sometimes, people get to a point where, they get stuck on a skill, or they want to, step forward and maybe be a little bit better than the people around them. What are some ways that you think that an individual that is struggling, or an individual that's in the process of becoming a great athlete or a great individual possesses?
Will you say that one more time?
Oh, so what do you think are some traits or some things that people can do to become a little bit better, to up their game, if you will?
Okay, so in I did gymnastics for 14 years. Since when I was 2 till I was 16. I competed from when I was 4 till 16, so for 12 years. Um, One of the things that they teach, which has been ingrained in my soul, basically, is that you have to put a lot of effort in to get to where you want. It's We preach it. We've said it on here before, but like you have to really understand that you have to have a solid fucking foundation to really start progressing if you want to progress fast. And if you look at most people everywhere, they want to get. We live in a world where people want the fast game, they want the short game, they want to get to where they want now, and it's not that easy. Just like we're the doors, like it's not easy. It's not going to be exactly what we want always, but at the end of the day, if we grind, if we put in the work, if we constantly are putting effort into getting better and working on the small nuances that allow us to succeed in the smallest of ways, they'll lead to the biggest of finishes.
Yeah,
You
exactly
don't
what you
you
said,
don't you don't start a marathon. You don't. Yeah, yeah. Like I one of the things that's been you were talking about basically people having these different mindsets and things. One of the things I've realized this week, it was a real revelation, and because I've been focusing so much on how the doors can succeed, how can I succeed in different things. But as an adult, what you don't realize is that you can plan every aspect of your fucking life out. And that was I was like, holy shit. I was like, what do I want to be other than just my career? What kind of person do I want to be? And I was like, honestly, I want to be a monster. I want to be a predator. I want to be the guy that like just at the top of the food chain at the same time. Like I like there's a couple things that I like to do. So I realized that the training I've been doing has that's the mindset I've been trying to get to. But I was like I didn't know how to put it into words, how to put it into the different things. So the training that I'm doing in the upcoming months to come is going to be very different than what I've been doing. It's going to push my physical limitations to the limit. I also want to get into bow hunting. I want to become a predator. But like what you don't realize is that you can understand you already you have to find your physical limitations, whatever that may be, even if it's a mental limitation. Like
yes,
that mental limitation, I just came over and was like, okay, now I know what I want to become. Now I can test my physical limitations and start actually making moves to break those.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that, going on with what you were talking about these mental limitations is half the time, bodybuilders, boxers, wrestlers, cheerleaders, football players, hockey players, lacrosse, whatever it is, it's all mental. Every single aspect of it is mental. Why do you think you see some power lifters that are 45 pounds or 165 pounds that can bench more than you and I, more than football players? It's all mental, man. They have trained themselves to be able to do these fleets. They've trained themselves to do things that other people can't. And I think one of the things, like we talked about, you got to have a strategy, man. If you have this goal in mind, you have this aspiration in mind, or
Yeah.
you just want to break through these limitations, have a strategy to get there. So let's say it's, in the gym, you're trying to just get a little bit more buff. Do some research. You know, go through the different phases. I've actually found, and Nicholas and I were talking about this the other day.
And that's something
Go ahead.
that I'm going through right now too. I
Mhm.
mean, I agree completely. Like I've not been one of those people that's done enough research. I've had people give me plans, I've had people do things for me, but at the end of the day, it doesn't, like, you have to start learning what your limitations are and start building strategies based on you. I'm going to have to start dieting soon to get to where I want to go. But that's going to take research. I'm not there yet, but I have to do those things. If I want to become this monster that I want to become, if I want to become this physical being, this beast moving forward, I have to do research. I have to figure out what doesn't work. I have to figure out what does work, and it's going to take time, just like
Well,
anything. But
exactly.
just
You're
like
gonna know
Zach
your
said in a
body.
post in October 16th, 2016, a wise man once told a young boy, you can be successful in anything you do in everyday life as long as you have these four things: a vision, a proper strategy, kick ass work ethic, and knowing your worth. But
Mhm.
you have to make those moves now or in the past so that you can succeed right now or in the future.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I couldn't have said that better myself, Nicholas. But find something that you
I
love.
had to quote you right there, man. I saw that post earlier today and I was like, wow. I was like, you did, that was perfect.
That was from
So,
four
but I
years
agree.
ago. 4 years ago. And we were talking about, those ways. And honestly, guys, consistency and perseverance is going to take you to places that you've never experienced. If you're really serious about breaking through your limits, you're serious about getting started on your journey, you're serious about overcoming that obstacle, just stay true. Just stay true to what you do,
Come
and
on,
it'll all
Hondro.
come. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Nick, I got to ask you a question, man.
Hit me with it.
If you had one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted, one moment, would you capture it or just let it slip?
Eminem vibes.
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, it's one of those things that I think I learned from gymnastics and cheerleading a lot is that, and I was talking to my buddy again about this, is that you are put in a scenario, especially in gymnastics, where it's your job to take that moment and make it yours, and it's no one else's. Your training, the effort you've put in that year, the effort you've put in for the amount of time you've been doing that sport, skill, whatever it is, determines how well you compete, how well you go out there and show the world that this is what you got.
Yes,
And
sir.
like, I never went to the elite. I got to level 9. That's the second highest level other than elite, which is great. But I definitely learned that you have to step up to the plate. It's a mentality. You have to grab what's in front of you. And that's a very great skill to have, whether it be a physical skill, a mental skill in life, because it is another mentality that I'm starting to like really develop that a lot of people think too, but it's like this is my own mental switch that's been going on, is that everything's a predator or prey situation. And I'm not thinking of preying on the weak. I'm not thinking of preying on people that don't need to be don't deserve it. Blah, 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 blah. But I'm thinking of, I'm a predator and I'm a prey on the opportunities that come my way.
Damn
I'm
right.
not going to let that slip because my family's got to eat.
It's a dog eat dog fucking
Like
world,
my
man.
family's got to eat. I want to succeed. I want to do the things I want to do. So I'm gonna be a predator. I'm gonna attack those opportunities that come my way. And that's a whole this mental game. This I'm not gonna let that opportunity slip. Or damn right, I'm gonna learn from it if it does.
But what do we
And
talk about all the
those are
time,
the
Nick?
things.
What are we talking about all
Exactly.
the time? You have to have a relentless
Exactly.
fucking will. And that will, that fire, do not let it fucking burn out. And don't let someone else burn your fucking fire out. You fucking just keep trucking, man. You got to push, you got to crawl, you got to kick, scream, whatever the hell it is, just do it, you know? But another thing we talk about, Nick, is the love of the process, the love of the journey. Do you think it's more important to, when you're trying to break through your physical limitations, to focus more on the end goal or focus more on the journey?
Well, I think again, like if like honestly, I was talking about Matthew McConaughey with my dad earlier, but one of the things that you have to realize is you have to have immortal finish lines. I
Damn right.
say this all the time because it's such an important phrase, immortal finish lines, which means that you can continue to set goals, but that's not the end game, man. That's not the destination you're trying to reach. That's just a stepping stone to who you're going to become. And that's a it's one of the things that Gary Vee preaches and a lot of other people preach too is if you set these monetary goals, if you set these strategic like points along the path you're going to take, you have to realize that that path is until you die. Until you die, it's a never-ending road, a never-ending journey until you end up 6 feet below the ground.
Damn right, man.
And if you don't think like that, you're gonna just get lost in the sauce, baby. And
Lost in the sauce.
like what happens if you make $1 million and that was your only goal? What happens when you only wanted a Ferrari and you get that Ferrari? What's next? Are you gonna feel so lost in a place that you don't even know? Who are you? What are you trying to do? What are the things you're trying to accomplish? That's why you have immortal finish lines because at the end of the day, we're not trying to move more towards a perfect person. We're trying to move more further away from an imperfect self. Bam.
Bam. Bam, bam.
Drop.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yo, so honestly, who do you think like we've talked a little bit about the physical limitations, but who do you think are some interesting people that are really destroying people's ideas of what what the limitations of physical ability are in this world today, or in the past, or whoever?
Well, first and foremost, I've really got to like hang my hat to David Goggins. And his book Can't Hurt Me. If you guys haven't read it yet, I mean, it will help you so much. It will help you break through physical, mental, emotional, even spiritual limitations. In that book, he actually makes you dissect what those are and what, where you're holding on to shame, where you're holding on to regret, and these negative vibes that hold you down. So this man has ran 200. I think he ran 203 miles in 37 hours. He currently holds the record for most pull-ups ever done, which is 4,030 in less than 24 hours. He's ran the Moab 100, running through Nevada in 100 degrees weather, doing over 100 miles. And it's just a really great story. So David Goggins, number one, if you're really serious about trying to break through your limits and trying to become something that no one else has, look him up. You will appreciate it. Number two, this is I got into CrossFit a while back, and that's kind of one of the things that's always kind of fascinated me is people being able to break through their limits. I've always loved bodybuilding and martial arts growing up, so that's something that I've kind of stayed true to. And this guy named Matt Frazier, and everybody probably knows who he is, but he consistently dominates the field on CrossFit. It's not just I come to compete. It's he comes to dominate. And one of the things that
Mm.
I keep reminding myself of, especially when it comes to pushing through your physical limitations, is that it's mental. I know we've said this a couple of times, but it's all mental. It's your thoughts, your awareness, all of that is energy. Life is energy. You you plant good seeds, you plant good thoughts, you're reading good material, you're giving yourself a fighting chance, you're hanging out with good people who bring out the best in you. Guess what? Expect yourself to succeed and you will. But the opposite's also true. If your mindset is shitty, if you have one of these why me mentalities where you play the victim 24/7, or you just blame everyone else for your problems, you never take accountability, you probably won't succeed. You know, it's one of those things where you've really got to have a discipline for yourself. You've got to be able to step outside your comfort zone, like we always
Yeah.
say, and just have that vision that you're going to succeed. So Matthew Frazier would be my second one. Um, and then my third one, I'm gonna go back just a little bit, and I know people talk about all the time. Bruce Lee. I absolutely love Bruce Lee, but one person in the martial arts world who I don't think gets enough credit is Jackie Chan. And this guy, man, he started out
Come on,
like,
motherfucking
yes,
Jackie
yes,
Chan.
bro. And if people do some research, I'm not going to quote too much of his stuff because I know I'm kind of rambling on a little bit here. But Jackie Chan has a mentality that you will absolutely love, and the way that he does things, the way that he pushed himself, he was always the underdog in his situations, always the underdog. And then that brings me into my fourth person, Dwayne the Rock Johnson. And for those of you that know, he had $7 in his pocket at one point. If you're sitting in a situation right now where you think, man, I could never do anything like that, I'm telling you, you're wrong. Again, it's all mental. Just break through. You can do it.
Nice. Those are some good. Those are four really great people. I have. I'm just gonna list one that I find ridiculously just wild. I was turned on to this person by Joe Rogan. He was talking about this how ridiculously talented this female is. Stephanie Millinger. She calls herself Millie. Bruh, she be doing handstands and one-armed holds in between like mountaintops, not strapped to anything. We'll be doing one-arm handstands with like on her kitchen table, like cooking food. It's just wild. Check her out on Instagram at StephaniMillinger. Wild. She is just ridiculously talented, and like I've honestly, the amount of physical ability and talent she's just in it. Like she constantly works and trains so that her physical limitations cannot define her. She's just on the edge of insanity with how much she works and how talented she is. It's wild. It's freaking crazy.
Well, and another one, man, that I really admire is Wim Hof. He has constantly proven that the human body and the mind has potentials that we haven't even begun to tap into. And it's really crazy because we've been throughout this podcast, we've been talking about different athletes, different fighters, and they all talk about how they have to go to this state, this focused mentality where they're just in their zone. And I think that you really have to get to a point where you become comfortable with finding that dog inside you, that animal inside you, if you will. And then, when people start to put you down, or maybe stuff isn't going right, you let that drive you forward. You let that flame drive you forward, and you remember, hey, this is why the hell I'm doing this. This is why I'm training every day. This is why I'm going to become the best me that I can be, and be grateful for that process moving forward.
Damn right. I'll definitely tell you one of the things that I miss, which I luckily like my buddy Kalen's like a really like he's a good workout partner and working out with you too, but like being in that gym in the underneath the stadium or in the dun or at the foy when you had your boys behind you and you just lifting heavy ass weight or you doing some physical shit. Doesn't have to be in the gym, it can be anywhere, but you got your people backing you up. I mean, like, let's fucking go, dig deep, let's go. That ain't shit.
Yep.
Like
You feel it in
when
the
you're
air, dude. You just feel it in the air.
ooh,
You could walk in there and get a
ooh.
bump.
But like that's like that. It's the grind time, prime time, baby. Like
Damn right. Damn
you get
right.
in there and you dig deep, and you got your boys behind you, grinding you, your girls, whatever it be. Like that is a state. That is a place to be. Like that is an awesome mentality. That's a fun place to be. You just feel like that. I feel like that's the one of the like a section, like I don't know, or a little area of where what it means to be like a top predator. You got all your people behind you. You fucking doing some crazy shit, and you just putting all your physical exertion behind something. Like bam, like fuck yeah, and you drop like you lift this ridiculous amount of weight. You deadlift 405 pounds plus, whatever, 500, 600. You drop that weight, and all your boys are like, let's go, and they hype you up. Damn, that doesn't feel good.
It does, man.
Woo!
It all about those around you, man. You know.
Oh, that was a good memory.
Yes.
That was a good
Yes.
memory. Ugh.
So I
But
mean,
yeah,
your environment's going to play a key role, man. The power of it is very important, you know, because your environment's going to produce those limiting factors on yourself. Your environment is going to be probably the people who put the limitations on you, the labels you put on yourself. So get outside of that. Get outside of thinking that you need a label on yourself or you need a limit on yourself. Take your first step, take your second step, and then just keep moving forward. And a lot of people I know, they get stuck on just, you know, they'll train for a little while, and they're thinking, you know, I'll eventually get there. I'll eventually get there. Guys, apex predator is not going to do that. You do not have to tell a lion he's a lion. You ain't got to tell a wolf he's a wolf. They know, and they'll continue to work their ass off in the dark, in the spotlight, or whatever. And you have to have that mentality, that dog eat dog mentality, where no matter what, you're going to fucking do your best and you're going to bring out your highest self each day. But if you don't, and you don't know how, then you need to ask yourself a few questions. And it's, am I selling my ability short?
damn right. You need to stop being a pussy and
Yeah.
grow the fuck up.
Can I do more? Have I actually met my limits? And if you think you have, you need to check yourself, because there's always more. There's always another percent. There's always a new 100%. And if there's absolutely no other way to get more out of yourself, find a way to push yourself further, because there is more, and there's more that you can do.
And I'm gonna say this is my last thing. At the end of the day, if you can sit there and look at yourself in the mirror and you're putting time and effort into something, you said, and you look back and you said, damn I didn't give my 100%. You just wasted fucking time. Why are you doing that? Why? Put your all into something, because otherwise, how you know if you can be great at it or not? That's it.
Guys,
Nick out.
y'all are the child of a king. Y'all know this. Y'all know this. Hold yourself back. Heal. The doors is going to be here. The power is yours. You decide. As always, we're the developers of our own opportunities, reinforcing success. I'm Zachary Otts,
I'm Nicholas Sternloff.
and let's open up some doors, guys. Have a blessed week.
We good? We done?
Yeah. I thought